Hello, everybody. A warm welcome to another episode of Wisdom and Associates with me, your host, Jemima. We are going to be talking on a topic today concerning how to avoid being sucked into the hype of engaging in alternative mysticism. The reason I want to talk about this particular topic today is I have noticed that there are so many Christians out there who are meddling with Eastern mysticism. They are engaging in yoga, for example. They are either engaged in the exercises, the pose exercises in the yoga workshops, or they are running gymnasiums with the yoga being included as part of the exercises that people can practice so that they can now be more relaxed. They can stretch their bodies physically, and then they gain some kind of physical health benefit. We all know that in the book of Genesis, in chapter 3, there was a conversation that took place between Eve and Lucifer, the fallen angel, and the conversation started with a certain commandment that Eve was given. We all know how the story ended. And this is something that has been a struggle of humanity ever since Eve partook of this forbidden fruit. Now, we are aware that Eve did not necessarily eat a forbidden fruit in itself, but the essence is that she started to consume the knowledge of alternative mysticism outside of Jehovah Elohim, outside of Yahweh. And that is why she opened this door of humanity engaging in Eastern mysticism, yoga, African mysticism, African spiritualism, Buddhism, Taoism, and many other alternative mysticisms that we might not be aware of, or even the Islamic mysticism, for example. Now, I noticed that there is a fascination behind engaging in alternative mysticism because of the benefits that it provides to those mystics who engage in alternative mysticism, whatever that mysticism is that is outside of Yeshua HaMashiach and Jehovah Elohim and Ruach HaKodesh. The reason as to why people engage in alternative mysticism, as I have come to observe, is people want to have business solutions so that they can be able to earn lucrative gains from it. If you can bear witness, the exercise involving yoga, many people have attested that it is very beneficial for their physical bodies, especially those who are 30 years old going into the 40s and going to the 50s. There's also the testimony that as you engage in alternative mysticism practices, that people are being supposedly set free from childhood trauma or any trauma that happened within their life existence. And they are also fascinated with alternative mysticism because the knowledge that is found within the matrix of alternative mysticism, I can attest to it. It is very, very seductive. It is very, very tempting. And it kind of makes sometimes Christianity look like the Bible looks like it is a very shallow book. Like the Bible doesn't have really much to offer compared to what, for example, we're talking about Akashic records, for example. When you mention the word Akashic records to a new ager, they will beam with excitement because they feel, oh, somebody finally understands, this knowledge that has been out there. Okay. Now, the alternative mysticism is also a branch of mysticism that I've come to discover. It is seductive because not only of the health benefits it provides, but because of also the financial gains that it gives to the mystics. People in India, for example, who worship the many Hindu gods that they worship, if you go to their houses, you will attest these people live a very opulent lifestyle. This is somebody that has maybe 10 cars. The wife has maybe 3 cars. The guy has 7 cars. Or you even find that the employers in that part of the region, they run these very huge manufacturing companies, and the Christians are the ones who go to work for them so that they gain their monthly wages from this mystic. And you see, when you're when you are a Christian, you're a Christian who is just growing in the basic knowledge of the Bible. Sometimes when you begin to witness to such a person, they give you those eyes of, oh, it's a good thing you're attempting to share your Messiah with me, but I am not really interested because, first of all, I am your employer and you're my employee. I am the one who's feeding you. I'm the one providing bread for you. So why are you presenting your figurehead to me, your God figurehead to me, and yet I am the one who is seemingly living a very advantageous life compared to yours? There are so many arguments that can be made for and against the gospel in itself, because even in the West, not so many preachers and pastors and televangelists have really done a good job in representing Jesus as, the alternative and the only alternative in the area of faith. Because you find there's so much scandal around money, the donations that have been sent to them to spread the gospel, and yet they're the ones who go around being caught up in scandals, financial scandals, sex scandals, and the like. And that is why you find alternative mysticism sometimes can look somewhat better, because you find in the alternative mysticisms, not so much scandal is talked about. I don't know if there's any scandal that happens, but I do know for a fact that in the Christian circles, yes, the scandals have not really bore good witness to Jesus himself through the televangelists and the many notorious preachers who have, dragged his name in the mud. And that is why sometimes you find Christians, sometimes they're like, if these people, if after the scandal blows up and all they get is a slap on the wrist, then I think I should run to alternative mysticism. I can do some Eastern mysticism along with the Christianity and mix it up. And then hopefully I will be able to get the healing I so desperately needed. And I will get the financial breakthrough that I need by getting an idea or an invention or a startup or what have you. And that is why alternative mysticism is very seductive. But before you venture into alternative mysticism, I will try and maybe set a few questions for you to think about. First of all, before you venture into running into alternative mysticism because of the financial gains, the lucrative opportunities in the finances that you will gain, ask yourself, which God is this I am opening myself to? Because if you decide I can mix Yeshua and I can mix Buddha at the same time, then you are lying to yourself, because that cannot happen. In the book of Matthew, I can't remember the chapter, but there's a certain verse there that Yeshua said when he was talking about serving two masters. What he meant to say is you cannot engage in mystical union with more than one God. You can't be in mystical union with the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and then you're engaging in mystical union with Shiva, for example. That is not going to be possible. He said you will love one and then you'll hate the other one. So you have to make a choice. And sometimes if you feel you're going to be stubborn in your ways and do whatever it is you want to do, then the easy thing God will do is that he will remove himself from you, and then you'll start engaging in mystical union with these other diabolical gods, the many Hindu gods, or the many other gods that are out there. I do understand alternative mysticism has a lot of benefits, especially in the area of healing, in the area of relationships, in the area of finances. I know that for a fact. But what I do want to ask the person that is maybe feeling you're at this place, or you're feeling very seduced, you haven't necessarily migrated yet, but you're really thinking about it, you're really pondering on it, you're wondering, this thing really looks very nice and lucrative for me. I've seen many people who have engaged in yoga, for example, and they seemingly look composed, they know what they want, they are conscious of what they need to do, they have the clarity they needed, they have the healing they needed, they're just living such wonderful lives, and they look happy. But many will attest to this fact. When you start alternative mysticism, at the very beginning of that momentum of engaging in mysticism, the alternative mysticism, you will find that you will experience some healing, you'll experience some sensations in your body, you'll begin to experience certain visitations that you never had, you'll have some apparitions that you never had before. But the unfortunate thing is, at the very end of that quantum trajectory, that momentum that started as a high thing starts to drop and spiral down, progressively. And many who have traveled as far as going to Nepal, India, Tibet, many of these people who started from a place of, I just went to a yoga studio and then I did some stretches and I got healing. Many of them say, after I went to India to further understand and learn and practice this Eastern mysticism, when they come back, they say they are not happy, they are not feeling fulfilled, they feel empty inside, and they do not understand why. Because they were chasing after happiness, they were chasing after the light, they were chasing after enlightenment, but now they're feeling, they have a lot of knowledge, but they don't feel fulfilled. They are still feeling a void inside of them. And that is something those other gods cannot give you. They can give you the money, but they'll never give you the fulfillment. They'll give you the notoriety you needed, the renownedness, the fame that you are looking for, but you'll never have peace. It is just a counterfeit peace that it is felt at the beginning of that momentum of your experiencing of that alternative mysticism. But at the very end, what is waiting for you is something that is very, very tragic. People have lost their minds. People have lost themselves. They are feeling lost. They are feeling, I don't know where I am, and I'm not sure of where I'm going. And that is why Yeshua said, even if that one sheep is lost, I'll go and look for that one sheep that is lost. I'll go look for it and I'll bring it back. So maybe you're that person who's contemplating, should I engage in yoga? Should I engage in Buddhism? Should I go to India and try and do this mysticism thing? Maybe it is the thing that will give me the solution I'm looking for in the area of healing or finances. I will urge you not to do so. I will urge you to go to Ephesians 2:6. I am now seated as one with Christ Jesus in the heavenly places because I've ascended with him. Start your journey from there. Start meditating on that scripture. And I guarantee you that Yeshua himself will come and teach you what you need to know. He's the one who knows everything. He's the good shepherd. He's the good shepherd for a reason. He's leading you into the mystical realms by the still waters in the mystical realms. He's leading you into the green pastures in the mystical realms. That is who he is. He's the Lord of all things, including the riches of space and the ages of time, which means he is the landlord of the many multifaceted, multi-dimensions in the spiritual realms. So look to him. If you are really, really stranded, look to him. Meditate on Ephesians 2:6. Go through the book of Ephesians if you can, and Jesus will meet you there. Well, warm welcome. Warm goodbye. Next time. Bye.